All right, this video is going to be covering chapter 5 of improving vocabulary skills. Go ahead and get your book out and you can follow along and take down notes as you listen. So let's just go ahead and read through these words and try to guess the word parts. First one is attest. There's no clue there. Attribute, no real clue. Discern, no clue. Dispatch, there's no clue there. Enhance. Now there's a trick one here. It looks like a ANC at the end, but if you think it's a noun, you're going to be wrong. Enigma. Exemplify. That FY at the end is a little bit of a clue, but not a total one. Mobile. Nocturnal. The AL at the end is a clue. And then orient. There's no clue in that one. So our first word here is attest, and this one is a verb. Anyone who's seen the Golden Gate Bridge in the rose gold light of sunset can attest to its beauty. Witnesses attest to the fact that rainfall makes the ground of Death Valley so slippery that boulders slide across it. So what attest means is to declare something to be true. Basically to say that something is true. In the first one, the person is able to attest to something because of their experience seeing the actual thing. And actually, in both of these examples, the reason that the person says that they can, the reason that someone is able to attest is because they've seen it. So another way to think about attest is, to provide or serve as clear evidence of. So when you're attesting, basically you're saying that something is true, either because of an experience that you have had, or maybe some other evidence that you have. Our next word here is attribute, and attribute is a noun. A 300-page novel written in 1939 has the odd attribute of containing no E, the most common letter in English. Some cars have computerized attributes such as windshield wipers that automatically turn on when it rains. So an attribute is a characteristic of something. So another way to think about this is a quality or a feature regarded as a characteristic or inherent part of someone or something. So an attribute, if we think about it, a characteristic, oftentimes the attribute can be a physical attribute. So say having blue eyes or brown eyes or dark skin, these could be attributes as well. But attributes can also be skills or abilities, so that are characteristic of someone. So one of someone's attributes is their ability to sing very well or do things very well. Other words that are sort of synonymous to this are also like a quality, a trait, a feature, an aspect, or something along these lines. So moving on to our next one here is discern, and discern is a verb. An experienced jeweler can easily discern whether a diamond is genuine or fake. People who are red-green colorblind can discern the colors of traffic lights by recognizing shades of gray. So discern means to see something clearly. Now, the important thing about discern, when we say that you see something clearly, it means that when you're able to discern, it means that you, specifically you, are able to see something clearly that other people may not be able to see something clearly. So in the first example, a jeweler can discern whether a diamond is genuine or fake. Because of his experience or her experience, that person is able to clearly see whether one is genuine or fake. Whereas someone like me, it would be difficult for me to see because I don't have that experience. In the second example, the way that the people who are colorblind, who can't see red or green, can tell the different colors is that they see the different shades of the gray. So some grays are darker than other grays. And so this is the way that they're able to see something that's not super clear to everybody, but if they pay close attention to something. Another way to think about this is to like distinguish someone or something with difficulty by sight or with other senses. So again, there's two parts of this this meaning of discern. One thing is that it's something that's difficult to see or to detect, and the second thing is that you're able to differentiate it from something else or make it clear from something else. So our next one here is dispatch, and this one is a verb. I wanted to dispatch the letter as quickly as possible, so I took it to the post office instead of dropping it into a mailbox. At work, Harold is treated like an errand boy. His boss often dispatches him to the deli for sandwiches or donuts. So dispatch means to send, okay? And dispatch normally means that you're sending something or someone out with a specific purpose. So in the first example, the person is sending out the letter, and we're to assume that the letter has some specific purpose in it, right? You need to get it out as quickly as possible because I need to get it to the person for some purpose. The second one is a better example of that. It says his boss often dispatches him to the deli for sandwiches or donuts. So what this means is that his boss is sending him out for the specific purpose of getting sandwiches or donuts. So dispatch means to send off to a destination or to send off for a purpose, for some specific reason. Our next one here is enhance, and enhance is also a verb, and this is a verb you may be more familiar with. Our gym teacher enhanced her appearance with a more attractive hairstyle. The college catalog stated that the writing course would enhance all students' writing skills by improving their grammar and style. So enhance means to make better. When we're talking about enhancing, we're saying we're making it better by making something stronger or bigger or more of something. So in the first example, it's saying she enhanced her appearance, meaning that she made herself more attractive, more beautiful, right? So she's enhancing specifically her level of beauty and making it more. And the second one, what you're enhancing is the writing skills. You're making the writing skills more or increasing them or making them stronger. Another way to think about this is that it means to further improve the quality of something, the value of something, or the extent of something. So if we think of those three things, when we say to improve the quality of something, the second example would be that we're improving the quality of someone's writing, making it better in that sense. And the first one would be the same too, the quality of someone's appearance. But we can also enhance where we improve the value of something. So if you were to say enhance your house, maybe you would add on a new room to it, or put in a new sink or a new bathroom or something like that. These things would be considered enhancements, and they're making it worth more, so you're making it more valuable. And we can also enhance something by making it larger, and that's the extent of something. So if you're making something bigger, you may consider that being enhancing. But in general, enhance is a positive term. So we don't want to talk about making something bad bigger. We're talking about making something good bigger or better. So our next word here is enigma, and this is a word that I really like. And it's a noun. How the thief entered our house was an enigma until we remembered that the cellar door had been left unlocked. The singing sands of Scotland remained an enigma until scientists learned that footsteps caused the round grains of sand and the surrounding air pockets to make musical vibrations. So what an enigma is a puzzle. It's a puzzle that is difficult to figure out the answer to it or to find the solution of it. An enigma can be a thing like a mystery, but a person can also be an enigma. But the important thing about it is that it's mysterious, puzzling, or that it's difficult to understand. So if a person was to be an enigma, you may have known people like this or met people like this over your time, where you just can't really understand, we would say in English, what makes them tick. Meaning, like, why are they the way they are? They do things and they make choices that it's not clear why they're making those choices. And so that person is an enigma. The reason why, well, one of the reasons why I like this word is that actually in, I'm a big comic book fan, and in Batman, there's one criminal who's called the Riddler, and his actual name, his real name, is Edward Nigma, and so his initials, if you just take his first initial, it's Enigma. So the Riddler, his sort of power or ability is he creates all of these puzzles and tries to trick people or confuse people. So I thought that was sort of interesting. I don't know if you will, but moving on. Our next word here is exemplify, and this is a verb. The main IRS employees who give citizens inaccurate information exemplify government incompetence. Mr. Ramirez, who emphasizes original thinking and freedom of expression, exemplifies the best in teaching. So what exemplify means is to illustrate. Now, let's be careful about that word. Illustrate has a couple of different meanings, and you may know the word illustrate meaning to draw something. Like a person who draws the pictures in a book is called an illustrator, and meaning that they draw pictures. That's one meaning of illustrate, but it's not really the meaning that we want to apply. By illustrate, what we mean is to be an example of something, or to show something, to give an example, or to show by giving an example. If you think of the word exemplify, it's slightly different in pronunciation, but it sounds a lot like example, and sometimes I think of it that way, exemplify, meaning that giving an example of something. So normally exemplify means like you're giving a perfect example of some idea, that some idea or some person perfectly represents some idea. So in the first example, the situation that exemplifies governmental incompetence meaning not working well, is when the IRS people, they give people inaccurate information. You call them up for help and they tell you the wrong thing. And this is a perfect example of how the government doesn't work. In the second example, it's more of a positive thing. But we had the word epitome earlier, and we said that an epitome is a perfect model. And a number of you guys had difficulty in using that word epitome because you were using it like a verb. Well, if you wanted to use a verb to mean the perfect example of something, this is the verb that you would use to exemplify something. Okay? So our next word here is mobile, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with this word. And this word is an adjective. My parents own a mobile home, which can be moved from place to place. Every morning when I was in the hospital, a volunteer wheeled a mobile library into my room. So what mobile means is movable, Now, in most of the world, we call cell phones mobile phones, or oftentimes we just call them mobiles. And the reason that we call them mobile phones is because you can move them around, right? Landlines are connected to a house or a business or something like that, and they can't be moved. But mobiles are movable. You can move them from one place to another. The important thing about the idea of when we say that something is mobile, it also contains the idea that something can be freely or easily moved, right? So, whatever, a chair technically is mobile. You could pick it up and you move it from one place to another, but it's not easily moved, right? Maybe a mobile chair might be a wheelchair, that this where the intention is for it to easily move from one place to another. So remember that when you're saying something is mobile, part of the intention and part of the design of that thing you are describing is that it can be easily moved, not just moved. Our next one here is nocturnal. And this word came up before in chapter 1 of the reading book. And this is an adjective. I know when my brother has enjoyed one of his nocturnal feasts because I find a stack of dishes in the sink in the morning. Since owls are nocturnal, they are rarely seen during the day. So nocturnal means of the night. Okay? There's not much more to say than that. Nocturnal is the opposite of daytime. In the book, we had the example of some, nocturnal animals, and I think it said owls, and I forget what the other one was. But these are animals that are generally more active at night than they are during the day, meaning they sleep during the day and they're active at night. Nocturnal means done or occurring or active at night. Okay. So moving on, here's our last word. This is orient. And orient is a verb. When coming up from the subway, I often need to look at a street sign to orient myself. Certain cars let drivers orient themselves in unfamiliar places with the help of an electronic map that shows the car's location. So orient is to locate, but specifically what it means is it means to find your location. To orient yourself means, to figure out where exactly you are. So in the first example, when you come up from the subway, you might have to look around at the street signs to get a sense of where you are on the street because you've been underground. Nowadays, it's really easy for most of us to orient ourselves because on our cell phones we have apps like Google Maps or Apple Maps or anything like that, where we can very easily see where we are in relation to other things. But orient, we can also think of it means to align or position something relative to the points on a campus. So it means compass. So it means that you're figuring out where you are in the world in relationship to north, east, south, and west. Okay. So that's it. So go ahead and do the online activities and do the questions, and bring any additional questions that you have to class. Take care. Bye.